Hey everybody, my name is Stephen Bowles and welcome to our Q1 quarterly product webinar. I'm really excited about this today. We get to use our new tools, get to use our new studio, and really just to kind of get a fresh new start to the new year. So real quick, I'm joined with my panel. I got actually JP Chet and John Alexander right here. John's actually, I think, just up the road, right? John, you're up in Maitland or something? Orlando, Florida?
Yeah, Maitland Winter Park, just on the
Nice.
road.
Nice. And JP's actually right over here, and we'll show that off here in a second. Johnny, we've come a long way, man. We used to be doing this over I don't know, Zoom webinars. It was like as simple as this: start screen share, go.
Yeah, that was it. One laptop, us squeezed together, on the desk.
I don't think we were 6 feet apart either in those days. So.
No.
Well, cool. So I'm excited. We're going to be showing off all of our tools. Just real quick, a little bit, if you aren't familiar about Shoflo. So we're really three different tools. We've got the rundown software, which is kind of like our bread and butter, what we've been doing for years. That's going to be for teams that are looking to produce live events, build a run of show, sort of distribute those changes and those cues with your crew wherever you are. It's been really cool to see how teams have been using our Shoflo software, our rundown software specifically during this kind of time where we're all doing hybrid events or virtual events, and really just in a place of like a decentralized sort of production team and production workflow. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out for sure. The prompter tool is something that we've had for a few years now, and we've really expanded on in the last 6 months. We've actually got what we call remote prompter now, and that's really a really cool way, and I would say on some level very innovative way, and how to turn any remote presenter be able to turn their monitor into a teleprompter. So all you have to do is just grab the URL, text it, email it, mail it. Doesn't matter how you get it. As long as they get that URL and they open it up, instantly their monitor turns into a teleprompter. Really cool stuff there. If you haven't checked it out, please do. And then of course we've got our studio software, which is just something we're so excited about and been working on just bonkers over the last 6 or 7 months, and are getting really close to launching and coming out of beta here in just the next few days. So with that, I'd like to quickly bring in Johnny, let him kind of walk through the flow of the show, you might say, for the day, and then we'll get going. So Johnny, what's the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So the agenda for today, first we're going to give you a quick peek at what we're kind of doing at the office behind the scenes. So really excited. I haven't actually been to the office in months, so I'm excited to see some of the new studio setup, what they're doing to execute specifically this webinar, and hopefully other future ones as well. Also, we're going to be running through some of the new updates for Shoflo Studio since our last update call, and then as always we're doing a Q&A section, so feel free to send those questions in the chat in the Q&A side, and we're going to be queuing up questions to answer those on any of the products, but we'd love to see a lot of stuff on Studio if possible. And then we're going to be talking through a new thing called Shoflo Backstage, which is an online community for all of our users. So we're going to give you a little kind of look through of what that looks like. And then finally, we're going to wrap with a very exciting giveaway, our home studio video bundle giveaway. I got it, Steve.
Nice. You got it. Mouthful. I blame our marketing team.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to kick us off, I guess, give us a little background at what's going on behind the scenes.
So, okay, yeah. Before we do a demo of Studio, I think just kind of understanding how we're pulling this off currently. So everything you're seeing, right, in this live stream is being done with Shoflo Studio. And actually, that's our control room where Mr. JP Chat is in there directing cameras. And then we got Brock, who's out there, who's helping produce the show and call it inside of Shoflo. And then I'm just across the window here, and I'm outside, and I'm kind of in our little studio setup, soundstage setup here. And so on this desk right here, I've got a dedicated computer, which is really bringing this live camera feed in. And then over here, I've got another dedicated computer, which is coming in as a screen share into our Shoflo Studio. And so that's where I'm going to be doing the demonstration of Studio today. So it's kind of like it's an interesting challenge trying to demonstrate Studio using Studio because of the screen share. So just FYI, that's crazy, and we're doing it. But I'll just kind of, if you want to see what it looks like here, let's go ahead and bring up our Studio B. So this is actually Shoflo Studio itself, but it's another one. It's not the one we're streaming inside of. It's another one, which is actually, let's just start right there. It's one of the coolest features of Shoflo is you can actually have simultaneous studios going on with their own streams. multi-user editing, the whole thing. So it's really cool stuff. But so I'm in this studio, and again, it's screen sharing into JP's studio, and then JP's studio is what's broadcasting for you to consume. So if you see any sort of screen share drop frames or anything like that, you'd be forgiven for us because, again, it's a lot of screen sharing going on here. That being said, let's jump in. So I'm in Shoflo Studio. This is what you call the director view. And so in the director view, this is where you're going to be able to bring in remote presenters, including your own local camera, and take them live. I've actually in here already myself. And so if I was just kind of simply to add live, it's going to look a lot like what I was just looking like. I got the same camera coming in twice. And it's really that simple, just as simple as just add live, remove live. What's cool is I'm not actually joined here alone. I'm joined here with Miss Miranda as well too. And so, hey, Miranda, how are you doing? Oh, wait, you can't talk. That's right. Because of the screen share and all that kind of stuff, we chose to not blow you up with the feedback and the loop and all that kind of stuff. But that being said, here I am. I'm in Shoflo Studio. She's in Shoflo Studio. She's coming in as a presenter. I'm coming in as the director. I've got my local camera set up. She's got her presenter camera set up. And I just took us live that easily. It's really kind of cool stuff. In terms of the graphics right here, this is a graphic that we built, our marketing team built with us. And it's really simple. It's called a full screen overlay. It's just using the whole 1920 by 1080 space, and boom, there you go. It just kind of will allow you to put graphics wherever you want, however you want. So if I was to actually go to maybe a different look, if I was to go to more of our grid layout, these layouts right here under program, each one of these layouts will drive kind of a different look in terms of how program renders the different sources. So in this view, it's really designed about showing kind of the additional frame and the background around it. And so for maybe this layout, you might choose a different overlay. I might choose this one, Orlando, Atlanta. It kind of looks nice and kind of overlays on top of it really nice. If I was to, for example, pull Miranda out and I just wanted myself in there, I could actually turn her camera off or into a hidden state. And right there, now I'm able to have a solo version of myself live. And I could use one of our regional based sort of overlays, which you can see right here. You can choose upper left, upper right, lower right. And so if I just kind of took that on, we can see I brought on a live logo. Let me put that in the bottom left. So maybe it shows a little bit better. Boom, there it is down there. So overlays are things that sit on top of program. And really the whole spirit of Studio is get to an amazing look quick. And one of the ways we do that is we actually have a whole bunch of templates, right? So in the background section here on the bottom right, if I just hit add new and choose browse media, you can see we're just bringing up loads of amazing, just really cool graphics just to help you kind of look pretty baller right out of the gate. So let's just choose kind of maybe, I don't know, let's go with this one right here, a little colorful. Hit save. As soon as I hit save, that creates a new background layer here. And all I have to do is click the eyeball and boom, there we are. And so if I was to add Miranda back live, again, her and I look great. We exactly, looks awesome. And so anyways, this is kind of just really easy and fluid. So just a note, you as a director don't have to actually be a local camera. I'm doing that for good demonstration purposes right now. But you can actually just be in here and bring in remote presenters alone. So a couple of facts about Studio. So you can actually have up to 10 cameras in program at a time. I'm not ready to demo that here today, but in general, that's our limits, is we're saying 10 cameras on. So you can have a really epic grid layout up here. You can have a really beautiful featured presenter layout or with a screen share, things like that. But in general, that's your opportunity right there, is to have up to 10 cameras live at a time. But that doesn't mean that's the amount of presenters you can have in. So in our presenter view, which I'll demonstrate here quickly, you can actually bring in up to 25 presenters. So that means you can have more people joining in presenter, and they're just waiting for you as a director to turn their cameras on or turn their cameras off. And so that's all you really have to do is negotiate the quantity of cameras coming in. So let's talk about how you bring in a remote presenter. It's really simple. You just come up here and you hit copy guest invite link. I'm going to drag this to the right. I'm going to do a new incognito window just to kind of not blow the world up here with all sorts of things. And I'm just going to come in as Stephen 2. We'll just keep it really simple. Stephen 2 is coming in. So as soon as I try to join, it's going to, of course, ask. It's an incognito window, so it needs permission for the camera, mic, and all that great stuff. Boom. As soon as that happens, you can see over on the director side, Stephen 2 has sent a request. You can actually turn on their mic or their camera right here. I'm going to keep it really simple and just click approve. On the presenter side, real quick, they're just kind of asking for camera and mic. So I'm gonna just use this other camera, which is my FaceTime camera HD right here. I'm gonna hit save settings. And it's really that simple, guys, for your remote presenters. There's no software to download. There's no complex sort of sequence of things that they had to do. All they had to do was just join the URL, give their browser permission if they needed to, and then ultimately just select the camera they want. The director accepts them, and then they come in. So this is our presenter view right now. It's kind of got a multi-view on the left, and it's got the direction on the side, the program on the right. A good note about our program is it's real time, right? So there's no like audio delay or video delay or anything like that. You're not waiting for it to hit the stream or 30 seconds out. This is all near real time, kind of Zoom video conferencing like type experience. So if I go back over here into the director mode, you can see now Stephen 2 has joined in. And if I simply just hit add live, there we go. Stephen 2 is now in the show. So that's just a little bit about directing. Another one I'd mention too is we actually have the ability for you to do sort of a multi-select approach to directing. I'll take this full screen just to kind of make this look good real quick. And I'll go back to our look right here. So yeah, if I wanted to go directly to just me and Miranda, I could simply just select Stephen, Miranda. I could maybe select the split screen layout and hit update live. And there we go. So it's a really cool way to really kind of queue up exactly what you want and then take that live. If I wanted to actually go to just Miranda and say all of a sudden she was talking about a graphic slide or something like that, I could select her. I could then go over to the media, select the media slide that I actually want. And as soon as you can see that we automatically switched it over into the featured media right layout. And as soon as I hit update live, we're going to her with the featured media on the right. So really, really flexible tool to help you, again, look amazing quick without a lot of lift. So in terms of like complexity space, you have the vMix or the big Blackmagic systems or whatever it might be, ROS, and those things can do really awesome and capable things, but it also requires an engineer to pull that off. With Shoflo, we really designed it to where it doesn't require that. It's just as simple as coming over here and saying, if Stephen wants to start talking, just hit add live. Stephen's in. It's that simple. So that's a little bit about sort of directing inside of Shoflo. Another note I wanted to mention is video. So you can actually do full frame rate video inside of Shoflo, which is awesome. I think it's one of our strengths actually when you're kind of looking at us and other different tools that you can do for this. So here I've got actually a welcome video loop. I'm going to set it to loop. I'm actually going to turn the audio off because you're not going to hear it anyways. And I'm just going to simply hit solo live. And we can see we've kicked off this full frame rate video. We can support all of it, 1080p, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. We're not doing anything weird with the video. You're getting the full video at the full frame rate. We obviously want you to optimize it for web, so that's going to be more in that MPEG-4 sort of H.264 kind of codec space. But otherwise, we're not going to degrade your video. You work hard on that video. As long as you can get it in the right sort of web optimized format, we're going to play it full frame all the way through for you. In terms of what you can do with the video live, well, of course, you can have us up there as well too. So if I wanted to talk over the video a little bit, just simply hit add live. Here I am, I'm in. And so you can really go in and out of the video, in and out of myself or Miranda getting brought on as well too, which is kind of nice. Last I want to mention is, in terms of the media types of things, is screen shares. So you absolutely can do screen shares. You can do screen shares locally, or you can do screen shares remotely. Really, the best example of a screen share is what you're looking at right now. So JP, if you pull myself back in, you can see that I've actually been doing a screen share, and I'm also obviously a presenter inside of JP's studio. So screen shares are really easy. Remote presenters can kick them off, or as a local director, you can kick them off. The more important thing is we are not replacing your camera with a screen share. We are supporting both at the exact same time, which is a really big benefit because a lot of the tools out there, if you go into screen share mode, it actually replaces your camera, which in my opinion is not the way to do this. So we went with allow for both at the same time. Switching back over, JP, on the layer side, I want to just mention one or two more things. So if I wanted to, I could actually have a banner or a lower third generated for Miranda. So if I take Miranda solo, we can see here, all I got to do is click this little eyeball, and there we have it. Miranda Strong, marketing coordinator at Shoflo. She's actually just joined us like 2 weeks ago. So she's doing great, and she's already live on camera, which is awesome. So it's been fun. But yeah, anyways, in terms of being able to edit stuff, it's very simple. Just add new, and you can come in here. We've got a couple of banners you can choose from, and you can edit and build those out right there on the fly and then bring them live. So that's just a really cool thing to be able to do inside of Shoflo. Another note I want to make is that on the endpoint side, so how do you get stuff out of Shoflo? So the way you do that is you actually go over to what we call our endpoints, and you can stream to any endpoint you want that supports rtmp and rtmp-s, right? So that could be Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, Twitch, Wowza, AWS, really, you name it, anyone who can ingest and consume a live stream, we can stream to them. And what's really important is you can stream to multiple at once, right? So we can actually be streaming to a primary and a backup of a live stream or a Vimeo, or a primary and a backup of another thing as well too. So that's kind of a little bit about endpoints and streaming. The final thing I want to mention is Theater, which is really an exciting tool that we're in development on right now, which will allow you to stream your own theater or essentially replace Vimeo and use Shoflo as its own player that you can embed into whatever site you want. So stay tuned. We'll be talking more about Theater in the coming days. All right, I think that in general covers it. So JP, let's step back and let's switch into more of a Q&A mode and just kind of answer questions as we go. So let's bring up the rest of the panel and see what questions we got.
Thank you, Stevie. I'm going to go ahead and trigger our first question here. And that is, can multiple people work in studio at the same time?
That's a great one. Yeah. So I think that's a big challenge space right now is, using some of the other tools that are out there. How can you, it's even, we need it here even to produce this live show, which is how does someone help build out banners, build out lower thirds, add in graphics, media, manage presenters coming in and out and all that kind of stuff. So the good news is absolutely a core part of our product and our offering is the multi-user collaboration side of Shoflo. And so specifically, if you've ever used our rundown side where two people can be editing and they have different permissions inside of Shoflo. For example, a contributor can only edit certain columns and a show caller can edit everything. We have the same thing in Studio. So I can't demo that for you today just because I don't have the two different users already set up in Director View. But the two different users will be able to join in, add media, accept knocks on behalf of the other director. There are permissions. And so it's going to make it really flexible. And you don't have to be in the same place. A decentralized production crew, Miranda could be in Atlanta or JP could be wherever he wants to be and could help accept presenters in, establish, get them in a sort of a ready state, upload lower thirds, do all that stuff, while maybe Johnny's directing a live show that's already in progress. So absolutely, I think it's going to be a really big thing for us and for the market. What's another one?
Great. The next one is, how is this chat/Q&A embedded? I believe they're referring to our showflow.tv/live page.
So that's a good question. So that's going to be a little bit more tied. Right now, the player that we're using is a Vimeo player, and Vimeo players do actually have the ability to embed a chat and a Q&A in there. And so that's how we're capturing your comment and your Q&A back. But I'll use that as an opportunity to say that our the sort of live stream player that we're actually in development on right now is going to be a means of essentially replacing that workflow with Vimeo or whatever you're streaming out to. And you would have an opportunity to have our player chat Q&A would be feeding back into Shoflo, and that would give you an opportunity to actually load up banners and lower thirds, just like the one we're looking at on the screen right now. It's a good question.
Yeah, another question. Do you guys have templates for the full screen overlays? I believe they're referencing the overlay you used with us earlier.
Yeah, so switching over to the screen share, I can kind of show you a little bit about that. So yeah, in terms of overlays, that's something that we're like expanding on regularly. So we do have, if you go to the add new browse media, this is like where you're basically browsing our template gallery. So we got loads of really cool stuff already in here. These ones that are blank are actually white PNGs. But anyway, so this is a really easy space to choose that. In terms of full screen overlays, that is something that we will be bringing in here. So I would expect to see that shortly. But I don't think we've got any in there right yet, just specifically. But I love that idea. I think that just more so matches the spirit of what we're trying to do, which is you get into Studio, you could choose these beautiful background graphics, these beautiful overlays, build quick lower thirds, invite in presenters, and you're off to the races like in less than 20 minutes. And that's sort of the idea and the why we built our tool the way we built it. It's a good question. What else you got, JP?
Next question is, what's the new presenter view?
That's a great question. So with our new presenter view, the new one is actually going to be more, so we're in development on that right now. So I think we'll be expecting to see that in the next week or two. You'll be able to start demoing and trying that out. So with the new presenter view, that's going to be, we're going to the dark theme. So again, if you switch over to our screen share here, JP, I can kind of show you what it looks like now. So right now we do the multi-view on the left, and then we do program on the right. So we've been doing a lot of feedback from customers, and one of the things we've heard is a desire to get program as centered as possible and as high up towards the center of the camera as much as possible. So our new view will actually operate a little bit more kind of like our web optimized view does right now, where we're centering it at all, and then you can switch between like a multi-view layout or the live layout. But when you're in the live layout, we're also always going to still just show you what you look like. And then we're going to be moving the chat down here below, which is a big part of it. So, and then in general, we're going to the dark theme. So the dark theme is going to be really cool because that's obviously, there's no need to add additional light when you're kind of trying to control the lighting in your room. So we're going to be going to the dark theme. And then this is also in the new view is where we're going to start to stitch in the concepts of like a speaker timer in there, as well as the ability for you to send producer notes, etc. So unfortunately, I don't actually have that sort of quick URL to show you what that looks like today. But for whoever's asking that, please, 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 we'd love to connect with you directly and actually show you the designs and how far we've already come in the development on that and get your feedback on that along the way. Cool. Good question. What else you got, JP?
We've got a lot of questions coming in, so thank you guys. The next question is, can you adjust the bitrate when streaming to rtmp?
That's great. Johnny, you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah. So if you go to the endpoints tab, you can, and either you're creating a new one or you're adjusting the current one. You just, go to your advanced settings on the endpoint, and looks like you're in it right there. And you can tweak a variety of different settings, bit rates, video frame rates, video res, audio delays, audio sample rates, a bunch of stuff. So that would be where you adjust it right from in there.
Yep. And we're really all about kind of bringing in more of those advanced features, giving you a little bit more control, because we understand that for our customer base, at least, it's, the one-click stream to Facebook might not be really the primary use case. And it's more about getting in there and having the options to control a handful of the additional things. And so that's kind of how we approach that. And again, reminder on the endpoints, we support multiple endpoints streaming at the exact same time. That's great. What else you got, JP?
So our next question is regarding browsers. Can presenters join from any browser?
Yes, that's huge. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take this one, Johnny. So in terms of any browser, I mean, I'd say any browser except for Internet Explorer, which is generally like seen by the world as a waste of internet space. But any modern web browser, which is going to be like Firefox, Chrome, Safari, things like that, are all absolutely going to work right out the gate. And then in terms of like, if you're looking for a preferred browser, if you're able to lead your customer or your presenters into that, we like to lead with Chrome. That's just the browser that we design and develop inside of. And so if we were to say we were optimized for any one browser, it would be for Chrome.
Thank you. The next question is, that is one I already shown. It is, can you monitor the time remaining / time lapse of videos?
Yeah, love this question. So that is on our roadmap. I really would love to be able to do those types of things. We're dialing in a couple of the other functionality pieces around it. But that's a really perfect example of, again, if you were to of your choices out there, when you choose Shoflo and you choose Studio, you're really coming alongside, and we're coming alongside you, and really trying to solve these specific types of pieces for you. So for context, for anyone who's curious, when you're actually playing a video right now in Shoflo, of course we are going to play that full frame rate. You have the ability to loop and all that stuff. And the plan is that right underneath program, whenever you have a video live, that's where we're going to show you sort of your timeline bar, and we're going to both be counting up and counting out. And there'll also be places where we'll do like quick jumps to 30 seconds out and 45 seconds out or 60 seconds out for rehearsals and things like that. So we really understand what it means to produce a live show, whereas I think other tools that are out there are a little bit more about streaming to Instagram. And so for us, as we kind of come around the corner and really bring this tool to the market, what's right next for us is really some of those producer-specific needs that we're hyper aware of, that you can get sort of assurance that you'll be seeing in Shoflo. So yes, it's coming, and I can't wait for you to play with it.
Yeah, And its current iteration is that bar that you can see that is only visible to the director. So if you
That's right.
happen to scroll over your program output in director view, you are at least able to see how far along in the video you are.
That's right.
Only you, the director, will be able to see that.
Yep.
The next question is regarding controlling which boxes your cameras show up in. So,
Oh,
can you
yeah.
control and move boxes around, etc.?
That is a great question, and I'm excited to hopefully be able to demo some of that today. So, real quick, so yeah, in terms of drag and drop, we do support drag and drop, and you can kind of see that here. So go ahead and pull up the screen share, and I'll show it to you. So for source order, that's really a key part of being able to control where people go on the screen. So if I heard that question right, well, I'm going to answer this part of that question if I heard it right, which is, can you control which boxes people land in? And so in particular, the answer to that is yes. So if I'm in the grid layout, we can see right here, Stephen 1, Stephen 2, and then Stephen 3. And so there's a couple of ways to sort of drive some of these experiences, right? When you actually hit a star, that's how you're driving who is in position 1. So if I hit the star right here, and then I reload that layout, you can see that Stephen is now in position 1. A really good example of where that matters is if you went to the featured presenter layout, which the featured presenter layout really takes off if you have like 4 or 5 presenters. But the idea here is that you have one presenter who's sort of featured, and then over here on the right half of the screen, it's just going to continue to expand out in more of a grid-based layout. So that's a great one. If you have like a panel of 4 people and a host, you might have Stephen 1 here and then the panel. And again, you can switch who becomes in that sort of featured presenter position by just clicking this star and then reloading the layout. And we can see we just reloaded and moved Miranda into that position. So we also have drag and drop, which is more experimental. So I sure hope it works. We'll find out real quick together. But in general, the idea here with drag and drop is that you can kind of move the order of position. So if I kind of move Stephen over to position 1, and then we reload that layout, we can see now that when program reaches down to your sources, it's pulling source 1 up there, and then source 2, and then source 3. And again, the same concept, you're just clicking and you're dragging to the left. And then the next time you go and load that layout, we're loading your new source order. So that is 2 ways that you can currently accomplish specifically the order and which windows people are showing up in. It's a great question. Really excited about drag and drop. For anyone who's been in trial with Shoflo for a couple of weeks, please start using that tool. I think we have one more update we're going to send on to it here in the middle of this week, and then it's going to really be available for experimental testing. Awesome. What else we got, JP?
The next one's a bit of a long one, but it's essentially how can you integrate Shoflo into existing workflows? One of the examples was Peter asking about how he can integrate with Hop-In.
Oh, it's a great question. I love that. Okay, so I'll talk about this just from a producer's perspective and the way that we built this tool. So again, the way that you can integrate with other workflows, right, is going to be, if we were to just name a few of them, that might be sort of how do you use this alongside of Zoom, right? How do I use this alongside of a Vimeo event? And then another one might be, how do I use this alongside of a virtual event platform that already exists, like Hop-In? So here's kind of just talking about this for a minute. So it's really about our ability to stream out via the rtmp streaming, and really any platform that can ingest an rtmp stream or an rtmps stream, that's a great candidate for that. So there are certain platforms that do that easier than others. I think Microsoft Teams absolutely just allows you to stream in as an rtmp input into it, and that would be beautiful, because then you just come into Shoflo, you're bringing your remote presenters into Shoflo, and then you're streaming out to Microsoft Teams or a Microsoft Teams event, and then that event, everyone's sort of just registering for that event and going in there live. Another option would be if you were to do this more with like a Zoom or something like that. I think as last checked, Zoom doesn't let you receive an rtmp and stream as an input. So in that scenario, JP, if you want to pull up my screen share, that's where you'd really leverage what we call our live monitor link. So that is a way to get program out of Shoflo, right, without necessarily using our stream out side of it. So that's right up here, hit copy live monitor link. If I go over here and I just sort of paste that in, that's going to pull up essentially a way for you to just see program dedicated, okay? And so I can see here we are in a browser and we have full screen just dedicated. And actually, if I took that full screen Yeah, I literally pulling up program inside of a screen share into JP Studio, which is streaming out. So it's a lot of studioception going on here. But that's an opportunity there and an example of how you might get this into a computer, and then that computer joins into Zoom and screen shares from there. It's also a great example of how you might do a record to like an outboard recording deck, like a Key Pro or something else. You would just have a computer open, load program up, HDMI out into a recording deck. And the last one you mentioned is Hop-In. Again, very similar to the others. Any virtual event platform that can actually, in whatever your stream event is, if they allow you to stream to them via RTMP, as in they give you a RTMP URL and a stream key, that's an opportunity for you to come into Shoflo, set that endpoint up, and then stream out. It's really easy. All right, I think we have about a minute and a half left of this segment, JP. So what's another really good question or two?
I think I think I'll just answer some that are really easy, which is, can we move the video playback head when the video is playing? Yes, we actually, I think, just released that this week. So you do have that kind of control available to you. Another one is, can you upload custom overlays in lower thirds outside of the ones that Shoflo Studio provides you? Yes, absolutely. You can upload your own overlays. And if you're going to use them as a lower third, we just encourage you to use PNG files with an alpha layer so that you can really control exactly where that text shows up. As you can see from Stevie's example, the live from Orlando, live from Atlanta, that is a PNG with a lower third. And what are the limits on bringing in sources to Shoflo? How many presenters can you have / how many live cameras can you have live at a time, Steven?
Yeah, so 10 cameras can be live at a time, and 25 presenters can be in as a source, ready to go live. So again, you can have 25 presenters that are in here. They're all benefiting from the presenter view where they have the chat and they have the ability to sort of watch program in a near real time, essentially a live real time space, as opposed to having them watch, via your final stream destination, which can be sometimes 15 or 30 seconds behind. So you can have up to 25 people in here. And then we're just saying that on the director side, we manage the amount of cameras you're allowed on. So again, you could just come in here and remotely turn Miranda's camera off and turn it back on. So in that scenario, for example, if Steven 2 was to be off, you might solo Steven here. The moderator, the host might be talking for a second. You would turn Miranda off, turn Steven 2 on. And then as soon as the host brings up Steven as well again, we would simply just, take split screen and boom, now you have the new host, the new presenter there with their camera going. So 10 cameras on, 25 presenters.
And Steven, I'm just going to ask one last question because we've gotten a lot of them, and it is in regards to recording, ISO recording, cloud recording, session records. Yeah, comment a little bit on that.
On the cloud recording, absolutely. We're buttoning that up right now, so we should, that'll be available for. So that's more in the right around the corner zone. In terms of ISO records, that's something that we have like been learning with the market in terms of the need for it. I think it makes total sense in the pre-recorded space. You're coming in here, you're trying to do some pre-records because a lot of these internal meetings with higher up executives are actually a little. You give them the option and they're going to be like, no, I don't think I'd like to do this live. I think I'll do this pre-recorded. And so the idea of using Shoflo Studio as a mechanism to actually just do the pre-record, it's almost like what we call, in the production world, like live to tape. So it's the ability for you to come in here, have banners, have overlays, make it look like it's live, but you actually recorded it that morning, recorded it through the cloud recording, and then you actually made it a source that you could take live later in the studio. So that's going to all be available with the cloud recording. In terms of ISOs, that's going to be more about like ISO recording for each individual presenter and serving that up for download later or whatever it is. And so honestly, that again, same thing I was saying earlier with different concepts like preview or audio mixing. Those are the things that we as a team feel like are our spaces to tackle. We feel like we understand the need space for this because we're a tool that is aware of the producer and of the complexities of producing live events at a higher grade level. And so we do feel like that's the type of features that we want to build. And so we'll be looking to build those over the next few months. All right, JP. Well, I think that generally is enough. What else? Is there anything else I can do for you, or is there any other questions specifically you want to bring in?
No, I think we'll just do our best to answer everyone's questions in
Yeah.
a later email or in the article.
Cool. Well, Johnny, let's switch gears in the backstage, give some people some clear next steps in terms of what they can be expecting for studio and the backstage space.
Yeah, absolutely. So super excited about this. I believe some of you may have already gotten some emails in regards to it, but Shoflo Backstage is a new place for you to connect, network with other Shoflo users, share tips, tricks, and just progress as a producer, show caller, or whatever your role is. If you're responsible for putting on live and or virtual events. So we're going to have a ton of resources available. There already are a ton in there. We've got some industry pros who have already signed up, introduced themselves, and a lot of other people have already introduced themselves. So some quick shout outs, John Deppa, Kyle Campbell, Darcy Owens, John Webking. So thanks so much for you guys for joining. And yeah, and then the website to kind of check this out, if you haven't already signed up, is backstage.shoflo.tv. And one of the things we already mentioned is we're going to be doing a giveaway here in a quick minute. We're going to be doing some more as well. So definitely sign up, introduce yourselves, what your role is, where you're located. Would love to hear from you and would love to connect. So feel free to join. And I think we're going to roll right into the giveaway. So
Oh yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, so we've actually had, for the last week or two, we've actually had sort of our inaugural kind of group wave of people. We call them our ambassadors, people who just love Shoflo, are helping us kind of solve the problems in the production space every single day. And so anyone who joined in had an opportunity to kind of play the game and get a shot at the home video studio giveaway, which, by the way, the home video studio giveaway is really awesome. It's cameras, lighting rigs, DSLR, beautiful USB, like sort of like studio mic. So it's pretty cool. And to be honest, it's like $1,000 value, really, really cool stuff. So we didn't have a chance to prepare like a sound effect. So we're going old school manual approach. But I guess without further ado, we're going to do a drum roll and actually call the winner for our giveaway. So ready? Stand by to cue the drum roll. 3, 2, 1, go. And our winner is Annie M. Period. Awesome. Annie, we're happy for you. This is cool. You're going to get yourself a pretty sweet looking DSLR camera. It's like a Sony $1,000 camera, really awesome. The light ring, you're getting the microphone, the whole thing. So Annie, if you're on the webinar with us, shout out in the chat. We'd love to kind of give you some love that way. Otherwise, we'll reach out directly. And yeah, just for everyone else, just a reminder, this is what we're doing. So it's just kind of a fun way to incentivize people to get plugged into the Backstage community. So with that, I'll probably just switch over into kind of the wrapping thoughts here. In general, Shoflo Studio early access pricing, it ends this week. So if you've been in conversation with us over the last couple of months and have been in the trials, reach out to your account exec if you want to take advantage of that early pricing. If you haven't checked out Shoflo yet, get in, check out the studio, check out the rundown, the remote prompter, start a 14-day trial right now. If you're a customer or a user of Shoflo, jump into the Backstage. We'd love to hear your voice, help develop that community out, get yourself a free or give yourself a shot at an awesome in-home studio. And then, of course, follow us on all the cool places in social. We want to stay connected with you. So with that, I want to thank everybody. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, JP. Thanks for everyone who joined us on this webinar. And we really appreciate it. And with that, have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time.